The ash began falling before sunrise. At first, the people of Pompeii barely noticed it. Thin gray dust drifted quietly from the sky, settling across rooftops, streets, and market stalls like strange winter snow. Some residents looked toward Mount Vesuvius with mild curiosity. Others ignored it completely. The mountain had always been there. Silent. Watching over the wealthy Roman city beside the Bay of Naples. No one imagined that within hours, Pompeii would cease to exist. Before we begin, thank you for spending a few minutes of your day here. Tonight's story isn't one you hear often, it's the kind that quietly disappears into history, even though it never should have been forgotten. If stories like this stay with you, feel free to subscribe and join us for the next one. The year was 79 AD. Pompeii was one of the richest cities in the Roman Empire. Its streets overflowed with merchants, politicians, sailors, slaves, and travelers from across the ancient world. Wine shops remained crowded late into the night. Public baths echoed with conversation. Fresh bread filled the bakeries each morning. To outsiders, the city looked immortal. Its citizens believed they lived at the center of civilization itself. But beneath Mount Vesuvius, pressure had been building silently for centuries. And the mountain was waking up. Among Pompeii's residents was 17-year-old Lucia Varro, daughter of a local sculptor. She spent her days helping her father carve marble statues near the city marketplace. Lucia dreamed of traveling to Rome someday. She loved listening to sailors describe distant kingdoms beyond the sea. Her younger brother Marcus preferred the gladiator games held inside the city amphitheater. Life felt ordinary in Pompeii. Comfortable. Predictable. But strange signs had begun appearing weeks before the disaster. Small earthquakes rattled homes regularly. Wells dried unexpectedly. Animals behaved nervously near the mountain slopes. Some villagers living closest to Vesuvius quietly abandoned their farms altogether. Still, most citizens remained unconcerned. Earthquakes were common in the region. And Mount Vesuvius had not erupted in living memory. The morning of the eruption began peacefully. Merchants opened shops. Children played in narrow streets. Fishing boats drifted across calm blue waters near the harbor. Then shortly after midday, the mountain exploded. A massive column of smoke and ash burst into the sky with terrifying force, rising miles above the city. The sound shook the ground like thunder. People stopped in the streets and stared upward in disbelief. A dark cloud spread rapidly across the sky. Lightning flashed inside the ash plume while stones and debris rained down across rooftops. Panic spread almost instantly. Lucia ran through crowded streets searching for her father while people screamed around her. Some families tried fleeing toward the countryside. Others locked themselves inside homes hoping the eruption would end quickly. The air grew thick with smoke. Breathing became difficult. Ash covered the city deeper every hour, collapsing weaker roofs beneath its weight. Mount Vesuvius continued roaring endlessly above them. Like the sound of the earth itself tearing apart. By evening, Pompeii had disappeared beneath darkness. Not nighttime darkness. Ash darkness. The sky turned completely black as volcanic debris blocked out the sun. Citizens carried oil lamps through the streets while terrified crowds pushed desperately toward the city gates. Many could no longer see more than a few feet ahead. Some became separated from loved ones forever inside the chaos. Others tripped over bodies buried beneath ash-covered roads. The city had transformed into a nightmare. Lucia finally found her father near their workshop trying desperately to save his sculptures from collapsing walls. "We have to leave now," she shouted. But her father hesitated. Everything he owned remained there. His life's work. His home. His memories. Like many citizens of Pompeii, he could not accept that the city was truly dying. Then another violent earthquake struck. Buildings cracked apart. Screams echoed across the darkness. And somewhere nearby, an entire roof collapsed onto a crowded street. That was when her father finally understood. Pompeii was not surviving this. Throughout the night, thousands attempted escaping the city. Some reached the harbor only to discover the sea behaving strangely. Water pulled unnaturally away from shore before surging back violently. Boats overturned. Others became trapped beneath falling debris before ever reaching safety. Meanwhile, ash continued burying Pompeii deeper beneath layers of volcanic stone. People wrapped cloth around their faces trying desperately to breathe. Many suffocated where they stood. But the worst had not arrived yet. Shortly before dawn, Mount Vesuvius unleashed a pyroclastic surge toward the city. A massive wave of superheated gas, ash, and rock raced down the mountain faster than any human could run. The temperature reached hundreds of degrees. Everything in its path died instantly. There was no time to escape. No time to scream. Only darkness moving across the land like the end of the world itself. Lucia and her father were among the crowds trapped near the northern gate when the surge reached Pompeii. Witnesses later described hearing a sound like a hurricane mixed with thunder. Then came unbearable heat. People collapsed instantly in the streets. Others covered loved ones in final desperate attempts to protect them. Within minutes, the city vanished beneath ash and fire. Entire families disappeared exactly where they stood. Pompeii became a grave frozen in time. For centuries afterward, the lost city remained buried beneath volcanic stone. The world forgot Pompeii existed. Fields and vineyards eventually covered the ruins while generations passed above the hidden streets. Then in the 18th century, explorers uncovered the city again accidentally during excavation work. What they discovered shocked the world. Bodies remained preserved beneath hardened ash exactly as they died. A mother shielding her child. A man curled against a wall. Citizens frozen forever in their final moments of terror. The eruption had captured the last day of Pompeii like a photograph from history. Archaeologists later uncovered bakeries with bread still inside ovens. Paintings still hanging on walls. Coins abandoned on tables. Even footprints remained preserved in hardened ash. It was as though the entire city had vanished in a single instant. Pompeii became more than a ruin. It became a warning. A reminder of how quickly ordinary life can disappear. Today, millions visit the ruins of Pompeii every year. They walk through silent streets where Roman citizens once laughed, traded, argued, and dreamed about the future. Mount Vesuvius still towers above the city in the distance. Quiet again. Watching. Waiting. Scientists now monitor the volcano constantly because millions still live nearby. And someday, Vesuvius will erupt again. One archaeologist once described visiting Pompeii at sunset after tourists had left for the evening. The city stood completely silent beneath orange light. Ancient shadows stretched across empty roads while wind moved softly through abandoned homes. He later wrote, "The strangest part is realizing these people never knew they were living their final normal day. They woke up expecting tomorrow. That is why the story of Pompeii still haunts the world nearly 2,000 years later. Not only because thousands died, but because the city reminds us how fragile civilization truly is. One ordinary morning. One mountain. One terrible day. And an entire world disappeared beneath the ash forever."